97.3 Citi FM. Hello, good evening, and welcome to Eyewitness News, live from our studios here in Accra. My name is Sami Wiafi, and tonight I'm here with
Akosia Oche.
Coming up in the next 1 hour, 30 minutes.
And my headache is how to get the next parcel of liquid fuel. The fuel we have will take us 2.6 days. We've placed order for fuel, but it has to be paid.
The government racing against time to prevent a looming power crisis in the country as the country runs out of liquid fuel to power electricity generation plants. Tonight, we'll speak to the Energy Minister to explain further. Also coming up.
We are disappointed in the action of the President. We were expecting that His Excellency the President will refer Samigif to the appropriate institution to investigate the matter and bring finality to the issue.
MPP and minority in Parliament petition SHRI, CID and OSP to investigate Samir Jemfi despite a presidential clearance. And later on Eyewitness News, another suit filed at the Supreme Court to halt removal of suspended Chief Justice as committee set up to hear petition against her begins its work today. Stay with Eyewitness News for more and other stories. Also coming up in business.
Bank of Ghana directs banks to comply with FX account guidelines amid rising concerns over dollar account withdrawals.
Eyewitness News is live across the country and on our affiliate, and also live on citinewsroom.com. You can welcome us or give us your text message and your views on the matters we raised tonight on 0549-9869-996, 0549-9869-996. Talking about affiliates across the country, you can hear us in the Western region on Premier FM 100.5 FM, as well as Beach 105.5 FM and Sky 93.5 FM in Takrady. In the Bono region, you can hear us on Greener FM 95.9 FM in Sunyani. In the Afro region, we are on Hammers Radio 106.5 FM. In the Ashanti region, you can hear us on Orange 107.9 FM in Kumasi. In the Volta region, Heritage FM 107.3 FM in Hohoi. In the Northern region, you can hear us on Dasuma 99.1 FM. And in the Upper East region, you can hear us on Word FM 88.3 FM. In the Upper West region, we are on Westlink 88.1 FM. In the Northeast region, Eagle FM 94.1 FM. Let's go to the phone line and speak to the Minister for Energy and Green Transition. Today, he met members of the Energy Committee in Parliament at a session where he revealed that close to Ghana is on the verge of running out of fuel. He says we have only 2.6 days of stock to run our generational capacity as far as electricity is concerned. He's joined us on the telephone line to give us explanation on this particular issue. John, thank you very much for your time. What do you mean when you say that we have only 2.6 days to run our electricity generation plants?
Thank you very much. I don't know what carried the story, but like you said, the Mines and Energy Committee, as part of their oversight role, summoned the Ministry of Energy and its agencies. The main focus was what were the challenges, what are we doing to address the challenges. On fuel stock, we did indicate to them that we have 2.6 days of fuel. But I also did say that fortunately, the Ministry of Finance has supported us and we've procured 450,000 barrels of light crude oil arriving this weekend. And so yes, whilst it is true that we have 2.6 days of stock, the good news is that we have 450,000 barrels coming in. And so we shouldn't panic. We would be okay. We will be okay.
So there's no looming energy crisis or a looming power crisis?
No. I'm a bit surprised because I didn't say that there was looming power crisis. I did indicate that we have 2.6 days of stock and we've procured 450,000 barrels. On Car Power, I did confirm that indeed Car Power had indicated that because of their legacy debt of 400 million, they were threatening to shut down. And also the good news is that we've had a very good, fruitful discussion with them. The Ministry of Energy, Car Power, and Ministry of Finance. We've agreed on a very good roadmap. Consequently, Car Power has withdrawn that letter, and I can confirm to you that they've withdrawn that letter. And so that's also on a positive scale. I did also confirm that the government has authorized that all MMDs except the critical ones, should budget and pay for the electricity, just like you, the normal, ordinary consumer, pays for your electricity, so that we can generate the needed revenue to hold the sector. And so gradually, we are getting somewhere. We just have to keep at it and keep pushing.
But I've also heard you say that we need close to 1.1 billion cedis to purchase this liquid fuel. Is that what we need every month or every year? What's the calculation like?
Every year is $1.1 billion for liquid fuel, and that is why we've commissioned a team to work out so that we can build our own second gas processing plant that will shave off another 500 million and gives us more flexibility. And so it was a session on challenges and solutions. But of course, sometimes the challenges sell more. But we didn't just talk about the challenges. You identify the challenge and you tell the committee what you are doing in terms of solutions. So that was the session, and I thank the committee. It went very, very well.
In that same session with the committee members, we had you also outline certain strategies government intends to implement. For instance, some hospitals or schools or some security institutions or installations will have power segmented in those areas. What's the explanation to that one?
So for instance, if you take the schools or the hospitals, theaters, laboratories, lecture theaters, if you take the wards in the hospitals, all of them will be segmented so that you won't put prepayment meters on them, because these are critical institutions. But the Ministry of Finance will budget for them and pay for them. Those that are not considered critical, they would have to budget in their goods and services and pay for that, and would insist that they pay for that. Because you, the private consumer, you are paying. So any other agency, unless otherwise designated as critical, would have to pay, and that will be what we are doing.
The issue has always been the ECG's ability to collect revenue from consumers. How is the direction like? Is the ECG able to collect all this revenue? I'm not sure we'll be having this particular conversation. From where you said, what's the strategy to ensure that ECG is able to collect all this revenue so we don't have a shortfall in this area?
That's why we are involved.
Your call has been put.
Hello, Mr. Jinapo. Unfortunately, the line dropped. John Jinapo is Minister for Energy and Green Transition. We'll try and raise him back on the telephone to speak to him on this particular development. He held a meeting with some members of the Energy Committee in Ghana's Parliament on the recent development in the country as far as the energy sector is concerned. Let's hear that conversation he had with members, and then we'll try and raise him on the line again.
Wrong with you, Chairman. Today, as I sit here, this morning, my headache is how to get the next parcel of liquid fuel. The fuel we have will take us 2.6 days. We've placed order for fuel, but it has to be paid. We've procured some fuel on credit and working with the Ministry of Finance to pay. But the truth is that the Ministry of Finance also has its limits. And so we'll be going to Cabinet to discuss how we can improve on the sector. And that is why we are pushing for some private sector participation in ECG's operations. It does not entirely solve the problem, but it takes us to another level. Because if the collections are reduced from the 40% to say 5%, it means that we'll be collecting more. Cabinet has also adopted a position, and we'll brief you, Chairman. All MMDAs are supposed to pay for their electricity bills. They have to budget for it. We've identified what we call critical institutions. They include the health sector, the education sector, the security agencies, and the presidency. Even with that, so if you take the health sector, is the theaters, the laboratories, the wards that will be exempted. If you take the educational institutions, dormitories are not part, restaurants are not part, only lecture theaters. So we've classified that, and Cabinet is granting the approval, and will publish that. Even what we term as critical institutions, the Ministry of Finance will have to budget for it and pay. This year, it is estimated at over 30 billion in terms of the shortfall. Yesterday, we had a session with the Finance Minister, and a lot of the people here were there. we require about $1.1 billion to procure liquid fuels alone. Unfortunately, and the PRC is here, the liquid fuel is not part of the tariff structure. And so you will be buying close to $15 billion of liquid fuel, and that has to be paid by the central government because it's not part of the tariff structure. As if that is not enough, what you call the reserve margin, which is a necessity, because you just don't bring plants to meet exactly what you consume. What if one plant goes off for maintenance or any situation? That is not also part of the tariff structure. More importantly, the tariff itself, ECG, is unable to collect all the monies. And so you're having a deficit of about 2 billion cedis every month when it comes to ECG's collections. When you add that deficit and you add the fuel, which is not part of the pass-through, you are looking at over 30 billion. Car Power has just sent us a letter that by 18th, they will shut down the plant because we owe them more than $400 million. IPPs alone, we owe them $1.7 billion. And so it's serious.
You were the Minister for Energy and Green Transition, John Jinapo, in an earlier interaction with members of the Energy Committee of Parliament. But he's given us an update before the line drop. The government has been able to secure some crude or liquid fuel to power the generators. And also Car Power has decided to withdraw the letter they sent to the ministry or government earlier that they were going to shut down, their plant by the 18th of May this year. Let's go on the line and speak to Nana Mwesi, the 7th. He's the Executive Director of the Institute for Energy Security on these matters. Nana, thank you very much for your time and good evening to you. Before the update from the minister, he had, said that we have some few days, as to 2.6 days for the current liquid fuel we have to power our generators, but he gave us an update a while ago that the government has been able to procure some fuel from a source which says that the light will be on till a period of time. But one interesting thing that he made is that the country, as we speak, needs close to 1.1 billion cedis every month to be able to purchase liquid fuel to power our generators. Is this particular move?
I'm sorry for the interruption. Your line is faint, so I'm struggling to hear you. If you could fix your end, I'll be glad.
Nana, let me try again. Can you hear me? Is it better now?
It's getting better, yes.
Okay.
It's getting better.
So before you came on air, we had spoken to the Energy Minister who gave an update after the meeting with the members of the Energy Committee in Parliament. And says that government has been able to procure some liquid fuel, and that's the looming crisis as was expected, because he said that Ghana only had only 2.6 days of fuel left, but he says the government has been able to procure some, and so the crisis that we're expecting is not going to come. But then he mentioned that we need close to 1.1 billion cedis every month to purchase the liquid fuel to power our generators. And I'm asking that, is this particular move sustainable, that every month we will need this amount of money just to purchase liquid fuel?
Well, good evening once again, and good evening to your listeners. I'm sure today we are discussing the power sector in relation to fuel supply. Tomorrow, I can bet you we may be discussing the unavailability of some plants or the disruption in natural gas supply, and probably a problem with transmission or the distribution grid. We have a huge challenge in the sector, and I can understand the minister seeking to give comfort to consumers, but we believe that the minister must be more realistic with consumers of power, that they cannot be guaranteed suitable power supply until the inefficiencies, in particular the usage of the distributor, is fixed, and until we're able to collect enough of the receivables so we can allocate to all the players within the value chain to effectively deliver their bit or part of their bargain we should have enough money to pay the fuel supplier, enough to pay the fuel transmitter, enough to pay the power generator, the transmitter of the power, the distributor of the power, and all other players within the stream. Why are we pushing for a private sector participation? It is because we admit the inefficiency of ECG. And this exercise will take some time, and for us to come to a level where we have even a cost-reflective tariff and we are collecting enough of this, receivables, we can't guarantee any stable power supply. And so we believe that the minister must be more realistic with consumers of power. Yes, we are talking about fuel supply issue here, but trust me, the minister was also clear in his statement that within the next 7 days, we have a challenge at hand. If Car Power doesn't rescind its decision, it means that we are going to lose a sizable, capacity in terms of installed capacity or dependable capacity.
He just mentioned. Sorry to cut him, but before you came on air, he mentioned that Car Power has decided to withdraw their letter.
Thank God they have withdrawn their letter. Can we guarantee that another power plant will not do the same? Because it started from Asogli last year. Car Power did the same last year. WAPCO did 2 times last 2 years, and last year closing their valve and stopping the flow of natural gas. We have entered in 2025, and the same pattern is repeating itself. Not until we have enough to cover what we owe them in excess of $1.7 billion and stop the leakages that we just recited, that every month we incur that there's a deficit in collection. Trust me, we can't guarantee any stable power to consumers. And so I think the minister should tell consumers, look, there's an issue at hand. After all, you inherited a doomsaw. And so ask them for enough time, something that's more realistic of a time, so you can face the challenges.
Then you talk about the revenue collection. ECG is always in the news that they are unable to, collect the necessary revenue. You believe that a private partnership, as government, is seeking to do, can help with the revenue mobilization of ECG? Will private sector involvement help in any way?
Definitely, it will play a key part of this fixing this problem. One, the private sector has an interest in not losing any money invested in the grid. The private sector will introduce some form of funding to fix the challenges. And trust me, over the past 5 years, we've not seen any significant investment in the UCG. So you can't trust, and they themselves cannot even trust their transformers, performance, their capacitors, their lines, the transmission lines and the distribution lines need some form of upgrade and change. So they have an aged infrastructure which require some form of investment. We've not had. Is government in a capacity to produce that funding? We lost out on the MEDA arrangements and, an exercise that we frustrated. We've lost out. Do we have money to fix this problem and introduce some investment into the space? The private sector may be able to introduce that, and that level of innovation and efficiency, I'm sure when you and I take a part of ECG, we want to ensure that our money, our stake in the business is protected and possibly make some return on our investments. So private sector participation is very key in solving this problem. And you remember just some few days ago, even railway workers are calling for private sector participation because they've tested over time and seen that government and the people elected to lead some of this agency have performed woefully. Let's introduce some fresh hands that have interest in protecting their fund and their business. And I think that we can resolve some of these issues.
Then finally, before I let you go, just some few weeks ago, government announced plans to, set up a new or a second gas processing plant similar to the Atuabo one, which they say will help reshape the country's energy sector. You believe a second plant similar to Atuabo will be a game changer in any way?
Definitely, it's a game changer. it will change, some of this narrative and discussion that we are having. We are talking about huge amounts that need to be invested in procuring liquid fuels. They are not just expensive, but then by way of proximity to access of this fuel, it delays in coming, and therefore some plants may go idle even before the fuel arrives. And that means that some part of capacity is taken off and load must be shared. A second gas processing plant will be a game changer, because today almost about 38%, close to 40% of the gas produced offshore is either re-injected or fled. It means when it's fled, it means it is wasted, and we have not accounted for it. If we are able to collect all this gas and feed it into the new plant to process, it means that we are going to grow the amount of natural gas supply that we have as a country, and possibly feed the excess to the industrial base of the country. And so it is something that will change the equation, definitely. But then we ask ourselves, when will this be done? And not until it is done, we'll be battling ourselves and be questioning how much we have to spend on fuels as liquid fuel as a backup to the natural gas that we have today.
Nana, thank you very much for your time. Nana Mwesi the 7th is the Executive Director of the Institute of Energy Securities. You're still listening to Eyewitness News, coming to you live from our studio here in Accra. Let's read some of your text messages. Tell the Energy Minister to stop talking and do his job. He's been paid to do so. He appears to be always making unnecessary comments, coupled with creating needless panic and fear. John Jinafo should get blah blah kakra and accept these flimsy excuses. Governance is a serious business, and you say this one is from we the people from Oyarifa. It says, please, we are fed up with the minister's lamentation. We are not in government. He is. He must fix the problem. Akapol from Ahafomim says, why is the minister always fond of creating fear and panic? We give him the power to solve our problems, especially the energy sector problems, and he must do so. Let's do Mawisi from the Volta region, and says, I support the energy minister's decision emphasizing that MMDCEs should budget for electricity bills except the health ministry. This promotes accountability and sustainable energy management at the local level, ensuring efficient resource allocation and encouraging communities to take responsibilities for their energy expenses. This is Eyewitness News, coming to you live from our studio here in Accra. We go for a quick break. When we come back, we'll do more stories.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
Are you feeling tired after a hard day's work? Have you lost your appetite even for your favorite dish? Viral Blood Tonic is a nutritionally balanced, pleasant-tasting tonic fortified with iron and vitamins to boost your appetite and energy levels for high performance. Viral Blood Tonic, easy to take and good for the family. Viral from Danex Iting Starwin PLC. If symptoms persist after 48 hours, consult a physician. This advert is FDA approved.
Hey, Akos, you know we have been friends since childhood, and we always tell each other everything.
Oh, Cynthia, I know that, and that is why you are my best friend.
We even eat together, and I have spare keys to your room. I also know your phone password.
Cynthia, don't I also know your phone password?
Yes, so, but what about your Momo PIN?
Hey, no way.
Indeed, Akos, your Momo PIN is your secret. Do not share your PIN for any reason or give your PIN to someone to send cash on your behalf. Debida, never give out your PIN or OTP as a means of claiming a so-called promotional prize won. Your PIN is like your toothbrush. It only belongs to you. Stay alert.
MTN.
Let your voice be heard on Eyewitness News on Facebook at facebook.com/Citi97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/Citi973, and Instagram at instagram.com/Citi973 with the hashtag Eyewitness News.
You're also listening to Eyewitness News, coming to you live from our studio here in Accra. Let's just stay with this energy issue and the meeting the Minister of Energy had with the members of the Parliamentary Committee on Energy. Issues of, debt also came in. And he said that the Ghana Water Company, as we speak, owes the ECG close to 1 billion cedis of unpaid electricity bills for the past 7 months.
Only lecture theatres, and so we've classified that, and Cabinet is granting approval and will publish that. Even what we term as critical institutions, the Minister of Finance will have to budget for it and pay. Yesterday, I was listening to a news item where Ghana Water made a complaint that because of some erratic power situation, they are unable to supply adequately. I empathize with them, and I think that what we've inherited, we should improve it. But the other note is that Ghana Water hasn't paid even 1 cedi for 7 months. We need that money to stabilize the power. If you don't pay 1 cedi for 7 months, and it compounds to 1 billion, the power sector will not be stable. The private sector or ordinary citizens alone cannot be called upon to shoulder the burden.
You are the Minister of Energy, John Jinapo. Let's go on to the phone line and speak to Timothy Nyami. He's the General Secretary of the Public Utility Workers Union on this current development. Timothy, thank you very much for your time. The Minister says the energy sector is in crisis and there must be, a solution to deal with it. He mentions that almost every month we need close to 1.1 billion cedis to buy fuel to power, the generators. From what you said, what do you propose can be another solution to deal with this particular challenge?
Thank you very much, and warm greetings to your listeners. Yes, the issue of private sector participation in ECG retail has been a message that the government has been carrying over the period. I just heard Nana Amosi talking about privatizing or bringing private sector participation at the retail end of ECG. But you see, today, Honorable Minister has mentioned that state agencies are indebted to ECG. And in the years past, ECG was told not to collect money for these state agencies. There used to be a clearing house where they clear cross indebtedness of this organization. They stop it and they stop ECG from collecting money from these state agencies. So it is one of the source of leakages. Now, who has actually informed government or the ministerial committee about the necessary steps that they should take to plug the loopholes? But it looks as if the committee, or for that matter, government is just bent on privatizing the retail end of ECG. As we speak now, the tariff for increase just recently. The dollar has moved from 17 to 12. Have you heard of any tariff adjustment? Do we need to wait until the quarter periodic review period? Number two, there are certain things that we also raising about the pricing of IPP. I'm happy that Nana Amosi mentioned of the cost of even the minister mentioned huge sum of money that government is spending. But I'm asking, has government taken the pain to renegotiate the IPP contract with them? These are some of the things that we are mentioning. That the pricing of the IPPs is part of the leakages that they have to plug. And nobody is speaking about that. Nobody sees that IPPs should be renegotiated. One, from the pricing, looking at the pricing across Africa, how much some of the IPPs are charging compared with Ghana. Also indexing the pricing into Ghana cities. They are not looking at that. So they have created agencies are waiting to just go and invest into the retail end. You heard you right when Nana Amosi was mentioning that, yes, the IPPs have been striking over the period. Now you are bringing the private sector now to come and invest in the retail end, and you think that will bring efficiency. How on earth do you appoint a managing director with a clear KPI? Then you tell the managing director, look, you wait, I'm going to bring a private sector to come and inject efficiency. Is it not an insult to the managing director? And who have time and again mentioned that you have appointed a managing director who has also set the ball rolling and you have put in place measures, giving targets rewards and sanctions to the district managers. Now, what you need to do is to set up a board, and which I am informed today that they have set up a board. Why can't this board be set up to show the direction of the state entity? We are just worried as an entity, as a pool. How it will look like that this private sector are operating at the top, and you are bringing this private sector to come operate at the retail end, and we are deceiving Ghanaians and telling them that the price will come down. How on earth can it be? It is not possible. And we are assuring Ghanaians that look, all that we are saying, we are in the industry. We know, we have shown government what to do. But from the very day go, these same people, either they say the inefficiencies, workers are corrupt. Meanwhile, issues that have come up since the minister came to office, issues that have come up, what is it today? Have we heard anything again? But as I've been saying, no worker in ECT is left unpunished when he commits an error. But he has identified a lot of things and highlighted. Because of that, let's sell ECT. So please, we are worried that these people have formed cartels to come and operate at the retail end of the entity of ECT.
But Timothy, the argument is that the current arrangement is not helping, and so bringing in the private sector. And so bringing in the private sector can help inject some efficiency in the system.
And you have appointed a managing director, and when he's not performing, you can't fire him. Who is more powerful than government? So government that has appointed, His Excellency has appointed a managing director, and he makes a mistake, and he cannot be fired. So please, you should look at it carefully. And I think that this discussion should come up for Ghanaians to know that what we are saying, look, some people are elements, then at the appropriate time, they will hear from us. Those elements who are packaged themselves in the name of private sector to come and milk the organization. You cannot imagine the number of private hands always who want to venture into ECT. And for me, I am worried that when you allow them to come, one day you see, authority will show. One day you play this, what I'm playing, to tell me if you allow it to show, to come on. Okay. So we are not playing. We are serious in what we are saying. That's what the line that government is taking is a dangerous line. I know these international organizations are pushing government. Look, we have history of other organizations, even in outside, where private sector participation has not helped the nation. It comes to milk the nation's resources. Please, let us be very careful. Let us tackle issues that need to be tackled. Okay. Let us actually negotiate with the IPP. Let's reindex the pricing of the power into cities.
Okay, Timothy, thank you.
Let us do this thing.
All right.
That's what I'm just trying to call. And I want to draw this honorable minister attention that he has invited us for discussion. But when they are settling that, this is what they are going to do, then it gives us a cause to worry that we don't even need to sit down with him. Because these are issues. He has technocrats that he has engaged in the industry. And he must listen to them, not outsiders who want their own profit motive. We know them. So that's what we want to say. Please, we are very serious in what we are saying. So it's not that we are very serious, and we are looking at holding the sovereignty of this nation to ransom when it comes to some time. Let us be very careful.
Okay, Timothy, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Timothy Nyame is General Secretary of the Public Utility Workers Union, speaking on this later development in respect of the energy sector. The Minister of Energy and Green Transition met members of the Energy Committee of Parliament, where he raised a number of issues, a number of challenges within the energy sector. For instance, he says that every month the country needs close to 1.1 billion cedis just to purchase liquid fuel to power the country's generation plants, so that at least we can get electricity. So he also spoke about a new plan by government to more or less rein off some institutions from the national grid, and also get some MMDAs to pay or make budgetary allocations to pay for their own bills, especially the consumption of electricity and the West. In a short, I will speak to George Abuaje. Let's speak to George Abuaje. He's the ranking member on the Energy Committee and a member of Parliament for the Asina Crosso Manso constituency. He was in that meeting with the energy minister held today. Thank you very much for your time and good evening to you. When you heard the minister, narrate the current challenges within the energy sector, I'm sure it was a scary one for you.
No, not really, because I know much of the program going on there.
And so, for instance, he stands that we need close to 1.1 billion every month to purchase fuel. A lot of people will say that, wow, that is a lot.
Yeah, thank you, my brother. It's a lot. As for that, it's a lot because 1 billion cedis is not a small money. But we all know the program electricity is going. We need, as a country, to sit down, find a solution to it. If not, always we'll be showing the gloomy picture out there, telling people the program what is going on. The program has been there. We need to solve it once and for all. If not, all these things will be happening. It will compound, continue compounding.
How do we solve it?
Yes, let me tell you, as I speak, ECG transmission losses alone is 31%. Okay? Gridco transmission loss 4 point something percent, making 35%. You are producing power of 100% and 35% is gone. How are you going to make it? How are you going to solve your problem? My brother, this is some of the challenges. Power theft. Okay? People are not paying their bills also. A lot of institutions are not paying, even government institutions. So, where are you going to get the money? That 1.1 billion from? Transmission losses alone between ECG and Gridco, 35%. So, assuming you produce, you buy fuel of 1 billion and you produce, are you going to get it? Or the 35%, where are you going to get that money, that losses? Because you generated the power. These are power, independent power producers. When they generate, they need their money back. They have to get their money. So that 35% losses is too much. On international stage, okay, it's about 2%, let's say, to Gridco, and about 7 to 9% to the utility company. But what happens to Ghana? These are some of the things we have to do. So, my brother, the challenges are enormous. We need to sit down as a country and find out what are the causes of this problem and how are we going to solve it.
The conversation has been to get a private sector involvement, so at least they can address the inefficiencies within the system. As the minority in Parliament, as far as this committee is concerned, you feel a private sector involvement can help address the challenges ECG is going through?
I'm not against private sector involvement in ECG, but do you think is that the problem? We have a fundamental issue at stake. We need to solve it first. I first tell you some of the problems. Okay, we need investment. Yes, the private sector may bring investment into the sector to change some of the obsolete equipment that ECG have or Gridco also has. We know these are some of the issues, but we don't have to put all our burden that when the private sector or private investment comes in, we'll solve all the major issues. No, there are still issues that need to look at it holistically. These are some of the things I'm talking. Yes, I'm not against private sector involvement in ECG. It's going to help, but that will not solve the issue, the total problem we have.
The government plans to also let MMDAs, have budgetary allocation to pay their bills, and in that way it will help, ECG in revenue mobilization. You think is a way to go because these are government institutions?
Yes, they have to pay. These are some of the things they have to pay. If you hear the amount some of these MMDAs owns, you'll be shocked. Okay, the minister also mentioned of critical institutions. Yes, we know critical institutions like the hospitals. He talks about maybe theater being exempted from all these things. But other sectors need to be cut off if they don't pay. Because if not, we are not heading anywhere. if we bring the private sector involvement into ECG and all these things still persist, there is no way we will achieve what we are looking for.
Thank you very much, George Abuaji, ranking member on the Energy Committee and also a member of Parliament for Asenia Kroso constituency in the Eastern region. This is Eyewitness News coming to you live from our studio here in Accra. We'll go for a break. When we come back, we'll do more stories.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
Oh, jump on now. Go, go. Go me. And what time when you come back, we are not hear the sound of your car? Why you buy new car? No, I not change my car. It be the same, right? It be the fuel way I change. Way one shouts it. Ever since I started using the all-new Excellium Premium Fuel, fortified with 3-in-1 action. Oh, Joe, now my car they run like electric car. No, it's so. This is the type of fuel where they want to. Because now engine they cost. Where they want for way if I buy it, it go protect my engine. And with the small way I buy, I go drive, sir. Absolutely. It's like strapping a turbocharger to your engine and giving it a protector. And what they bust my mind, Seth, be the 3-in-1 action, no? Excellium, they prevent up to 99% of deposit. It be anti-wear, some be anti-corrosion. Won't pay when I open them. Hey, so where can I find this magical fuel? Just head over to any Total Energy service station and your car will thank you. Hey, they make a finish my gobe fast, then rush go Total Energies. My friend, but why your hand my gobe inside? I give you info, make a fill the gobe too small. Go! Excellium is designed to protect your car engine, decrease fuel consumption, and lower CO2 emissions. Don't say fuel, say Excellium. Choose Excellium, choose quality.
Charlie, where are you?
Boss man, I'm at the bank.
Really? But your car is in front of your house.
Bro, my bank on my phone, Charlie.
Oh, how?
EcoBank, bro. With EcoBank mobile app, I can do everything, anywhere, anytime. Listen, I just checked my account balance, paid Ahmed's school fees, and sent money to my grandma at Wale.
Oh, wow.
Wow. Masa, just download the EcoBank mobile app from the Google Play Store or the App Store, or dial *770# and be your own bank manager.
Manager.
Whether to pay bills or fees, to check account statements, send money across Ghana, abroad, and more, EcoBank mobile app has got it covered. EcoBank Mobile, making everyday people live everyday lives the EcoBank way. EcoBank, the Pan-African bank.
Let your voice be heard on Eyewitness News on Facebook at facebook.com/Citi97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/Citi973, and Instagram at instagram.com/Citi973 with the hashtag Eyewitness News.
You're welcome back. You're still listening to Eyewitness News coming to you live from our studio here in Accra. Let's read some of your text messages. Good evening, Sammy. It's rather unfortunate that we are suffering in this country because of the bad governance of Nana Akufo-Addo. I pray God's intervention for John Mahama to find lasting solution to the current energy problems we have in the country. Kofi Akra says getting private sector involved in ECG is the best way to go. Akosi has some other stories.
Now, the minority in Parliament has petitioned the Commission of Human Rights and Administrative Justice, SHRAJ, the Criminal Investigation Department, and the Office of the Special Prosecutor to probe Chief Executive Officer of the Ghana Gold Board, Sammy Gyamfi. Now, according to the caucus, the decision of the President to pardon the acting CEO, Sammy Gyamfi, is not punitive enough. While addressing the press after submitting the petitions, Member of Parliament for Nalerugu Gambaga, Nuruddin Mohammed Momuni, says the caucus wants the institutions petitioned to determine if Sammy Gyamfi's action amounted to abuse of office.
We believe that it is not different from Mr. Sammy Gyamfi's case. So that is why today we have taken this upon ourselves to petition the relevant authorities for them to investigate this issue and come out with proper sanctions or any other thing that will clear Mr. Sammy Gyamfi very well. If he's found culpable, he should be punished.
You heard the Member of Parliament for Nalerugu Gambaga, Nuruddin Mohammed Momuni. Thankfully, he joins us on the telephone line to give us more details on this petition. Honorable, thank you very much for your time. The President has cleared Mr. Sammy Gyamfi. He feels that, he's apologized and that's okay. Why do you want SHRAJ, CID and the Office of the Special Prosecutor to get involved in this matter?
Thank you very much. Good evening to you and good evening to your cherished listeners. And good evening to the people of Nalerugu Gambaga constituency. That is my constituency. If you look at the issue, we
The reason why we are petitioning these institutions, we want to see Mr. Semijimfi to be cleared or punished well, or to be cleared and cleared appropriately. We were expecting that His Excellency the President will refer the issue to one of the state institutions to investigate for Mr. Semijimfi for his own reputation's sake to be cleared and cleared well. But unfortunately, the President has now become the number one clearing agent within 4 months in his government. So we thought it wise that we will not let the issue to pass like that. We have to go to the state institutions for them to investigate our very good brother, Mr. Semijimfi. That is the acting CEO for Gold Board and National Communication Officer for the NDC. So that is why we want to submit a petition to these 3 institutions.
Specifically, what do you want Shraj, OSP, and the CID to do specifically?
Thank you very much. We want them to investigate, to tell the whole country the source of the money, the source of the foreign currency that Mr. Semijimfi was giving out to Agada. That's one. Secondly, we want them to tell us whether what he did was not conflict of interest or abuse of office. Thirdly, we want them to tell us whether Mr. Semijimfi has violated whether he has violated the Foreign Exchange Act or the Currency Act. These are some of the things that we want to see from the people, from the institutions.
And you believe that these institutions are the best institutions to, investigate this particular matter. But then again, a lot of people will say that which law really has Mr. Jemfi, gone against or, flouted? Which law specifically?
Thank you very much once again. If you look at these institutions, we all know these are institutions of state that are mandated to investigate issues of this nature. But as Ghanaians, because we don't have so much confidence in this institution, but with this matter, we the minority have confidence in these 3 institutions. That is why we have not petitioned only one institution. So we have so much confidence in this institution and we know they will all deliver on the petitions. And you were mentioning that whether Semijimfi, which law has Semijimfi. That is why we are running to the institutions. I'm not a lawyer. I will speak as a layman person. That's why we are all running to these institutions. And even if the institutions fail, we have other avenues or other channels that we use to get to the bottom of finality to this matter. As I mentioned earlier on, the Exchange Act is one of the laws that we believe that Mr. Semijimfi has breached. Another one is the Currency Act that we believe he has breached. So these are some of the laws that we think that Mr. Semijimfi has breached. But because we can't make pronouncement on him, we have to run to these institutions to investigate. We have to give him fair hearing. The institutions have to investigate and clear him. We don't have to just leave it at the flat house for Mr. Semijimfi's own reputation, for his own reputation. If this institution give him proper clearance, it means that he's cleared. But if the institution find him culpable, which means that he has done something wrong. So clearing him at the Flatter House is not an institution that investigates people and to clear them. If you remember, in the last administration, the former president, when the former sanitation minister, the Bar case came, he didn't sit at the Flatter House and write a letter and say, you are cleared. He referred the issue to the OSP. OSP did the investigation and came out with their findings. So the president will read or give out the findings to the Ghanaian people for their own judgment. But in this case, what did we see? The president was out of the country. Chief of Staff called Mr. Semijimfi and warned him and said because he has apologized to the Ghanaian people, his party is to go and see no more. I don't think that is a good precedent. We need to, as a country, we need to set good precedent for the country. That is why we feel like it's only ended the institutions to investigate. So Mr. Semijimfi himself, for his own reputation, he will be cleared well. And if he's not going to be cleared and the investigation come out that he has committed a crime, and so it will take its own course.
No,
let me state it categorically.
we in the minority, we want the law to work. We are not after Mr. Semijensi personality or his political career. No, we will not do that. He's a young man growing like myself. We respect each other, and we are not running after his personality. But we want a situation whereby in the future, if good pronouncement or bad pronouncement is made on this issue by this investigative body, the next time I have my dollars and I'm going to spend it, I'll be afraid that if I spend the dollars in public or give out the dollars in public as a public officer, there will be laws to guide that. But if the institution says that some people have done no wrong, the next time I have my dollars, even if I'm a minister of state, I can even go around throwing dollars to people and nothing will happen to me.
Agreed. Finally, are you not just doing politics with this matter, really?
My brother, we are not doing politics, especially myself. I'm a very objective politician. If you ask those who know me very well, I've never done politics subjectively. I do politics objectively. If you look at some of these issues, the NDC may think that we are doing this for politics, but my brother, we are not doing this for politics. We are doing this for our own future. That's why I gave an example. Next time this issue, when Mr. Samijenfi is cleared, next time I will know that as a public officer or as an MP, I can go around. If I have my dollars, I can spend the dollars in public. I can even give people money in dollars and not in city. So it will guide all of us. And secondly, it will also bring some kind of confidence to our state institutions.
Okay, thank you very much, Nuruddin. Thank you very much. Nuruddin Mohammed Mumuni is the member of parliament for Naligu Gambaga in the northeast region. Akosi has some more stories.
Yes, the co-chair of the Citizen Movement Against Corruption, Adam Senanu, is urging government to expedite the passage and implementation of the Conduct of Public Officers Bill. All this comes in the wake of President John Mahama's decision not to take further disciplinary action against the acting CEO of the Ghana Gold Board, Sami Jemfi. Now, speaking on Channel 1 Newsroom, Mr. Senanu described the president's decision as satisfactory, noting that current regulations lack specific sanctions for such conduct.
There isn't a specific aspect of the code of conduct that covers this, and it is, yes, an indiscretion and as a public office, but I couldn't see the president finding a basis to say they're going to take some substantive sanction. And so I believe that the apology and the caution are in order. I'm happy that it was not trivialized, because on one hand you could have had a situation where there was no engagement, but we had the chief of staff inviting him, and then they waited for the president to come apparently to brief, to the extent that then they had a public, press conference to give feedback. It shows that the presidency is mindful of all these issues and ready to take action when and where necessary. What was the president going to hold him for? What would be the legal or policy basis? And that's really the question. I have said that what we need to do is to pick up the Conduct of Public Officers Bill, that's it, final, for which any citizen can take on board a duty bearer, an accountable party, and say, you have breached the law, and therefore these are the sanctions.
That was a co-chair of the Citizen Movement Against Corruption, Adam Senanu. Now, a civil society group called the Center for Citizenship, Constitutional and Electoral Systems has filed a suit at the Supreme Court challenging the removal process of the suspended Chief Justice Gertrude Torkornoo. Or the group in its writ is asking the Supreme Court to declare that the President's response and action regarding 3 petitions to remove the Chief Justice is unconstitutional. It argued that the action violates several provisions of the 1992 Constitution, specifically Articles 17(1), 2, 3, 23, 296 and 1461, 2, 3, 4 and 6. Or the group contends that the removal process lacked due process and failed to meet the standards of fairness, non-discrimination and lawful administrative action as required by the 1992 Constitution.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
Let your voice be heard on Eyewitness News on Facebook at facebook.com/Citi97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/Citi973, and Instagram at instagram.com/Citi973 with the hashtag Eyewitness News.
Get the details. Every significant financial transaction, every market movement, and all the policies that affect your business. Citi Business News. Be informed.
Hello there, welcome to the Thursday edition of the Citi Business News on Eyewitness News. I'm Akosia Ochi. The details. Let's start off with money matters. And the Bank of Ghana has confirmed that no changes have been made to current foreign exchange withdrawal rules. Or the central bank clarifies that over-the-counter cash withdrawals from foreign currency accounts are permitted, with individuals still allowed to buy up to $10,000 per trip for travel, provided it is supported by valid documents. It also confirmed that checks and checkbooks will continue to be issued on foreign exchange accounts. All the clarification comes in response to rising concerns sparked by comments from Member of Parliament for Bolgatanga Central and also board member of the Bank of Ghana, Isaac Adongo, suggesting that the Bank of Ghana was planning to intensify restrictions on OTC dollar withdrawals to help stabilize the Ghana cedi. Now let's hear from Ernestine Suwa Ahulu, who is the acting head of financial markets at the central bank. He's advising banks to adhere strictly to the guidelines. He was speaking to Bernard Able on Channel 1 TV.
Let me clarify that with the guidelines, you can withdraw, but obviously with certain conditions. But it hasn't changed. Therefore, we don't think the public should be agitated or uneasy about having access based on the way they know and are able to withdraw foreign currency from the bank.
And then for non-FEA and FCA account holders, you have said that forex purchases for travel outside Ghana, which means that if you don't own either of these two accounts, if you want to purchase dollars, it must be for the specific purpose of travel, correct?
Exactly. You are right on that one. And I will also need to clarify that, the 10,000 is the upper limit per travel. And that is also a guideline, not just for us, but for international travels in most countries where you can't travel with more than $10,000. If it's above, then you have to declare.
That was acting head of financial markets at the central bank, Ernest Nisuwa Aholuwo. You can go to Channel 1 TV on YouTube to get the full video bringing you insights into this particular matter. But let's still stay on this development, because the Ghana Association of Banks has called for calm, urging the banking public not to panic to resort to unauthorized sources for dollar supply. Well, it says banks remain committed to working within Bank of Ghana guidelines to ensure legitimate and stable forex supply for personal and business purposes. Johnny Wa is the CEO of the Ghana Association of Banks.
I'm sure the central bank will also be guided. The more restrictions you bring, the more you increase the propensity for people to be taking it off the mainstream. So that is the more reason why there's a little bit of flexibility around the use of foreign currency, so people do not change dollars from a bank or from in the market and go and keep in their safe at home or under their bed. We want to mainstream every financial transaction within the banking system, and therefore the laws that we have guiding that, in my view, works very well for the country.
That was CEO of the Association of Banks, John Ewa. Well, there's also a legal perspective to this, and private legal practitioner Jonathan Amable disclosed that institutions also quoting prices in US dollars must obtain the right appropriate authorization from the Bank of Ghana.
The restrictions that apply to the ability to pay in dollars is not just at the bank level. So what I want to say is that entities actually obtain FX dealing licenses, which is what the Bank of Ghana calls them. FX dealing licenses from the Bank of Ghana to price in dollars, advertise in dollars, receive and make payments in dollars. So the limitation is not just about if you are traveling and then you come and provide documentation that you want to travel, then you can withdraw the money. You can withdraw money to make payments to people who have the authorized dealing licenses from the Bank of Ghana. So when you look at Section 3, the licensing requirement is there, and the Bank of Ghana issues these licenses to certain institutions. So some of these people that you are criticizing in terms of the adverts and things that you are talking about, it may very well be that some of these institutions have the licenses. And in our work, we have engaged with the Bank of Ghana and obtained some of these licenses for these institutions. So,
private legal practitioner Jonathan Amable. Now, the Ghana Revenue Authority, GRA, has denied claims that it has authorized Strategic Mobilization Ghana Limited, SML, to expand its operations into Ghana's upstream petroleum and solid mineral sectors. Well, this follows media reports suggesting that the SML had unveiled an expansion of its revenue assurance mandate to include oversight of these high-value extractive industries. Well, the GRA, however, has clarified that the suspension of SML's activities in these sectors announced in April 2024 remains in effect pending further review. In a press statement issued today, the authority stated that it has not instructed SML to activate or resume operations under the 2023 Consolidation of Revenue Assurance Service contract, which initially covered those sectors. Now, away from that, Ghana's economy would suffer significant foreign exchange losses if the country fails to scale up investment in large-scale cocoa production. Well, that's according to Netherlands ambassador to Ghana, Jeroen Vigel, who is calling for an urgent reset of the cocoa sector. In an interview with Citi Business News on the sidelines of a high-level public-private dialogue on Ghana's readiness for the implementation of the EU Corporate Sustainability Due Diligence Directive in the cocoa value chain, Jeroen Vigel warned that Ghana risks being overtaken by countries such as Ecuador and Brazil in cocoa production.
If production is going down as it is going down right now, then that means that there is less export of cocoa and there is less foreign exchange earned by farmers and less foreign exchange earned by the economy. What you also see in the last few years is that more and more processing of cocoa is happening in Ghana. So that also adds to added value for the economy, but also to work, to job. And if there is no cocoa in Ghana, then that production will go elsewhere. So it's a threat to the economy if production is going down. So there is an imperative for the Ghana economy to maintain the cocoa sector, to invest in it, to make it more productive, to make it more competitive.
That was the voice of Jeroen Vigel, who's the Netherlands ambassador to Ghana. Now, Ghanaian investors are being urged to explore the growing investment opportunities in Liberia in the bid to boost the intra-African trade and mutual economic growth. Well, the Liberian ambassador to Ghana, Musu Jaturul, identified key sectors such as agriculture, tourism, and infrastructure as promising areas for investment. While speaking in an interview with the media at the 2025 Liberia Investment Conference in Accra, she reaffirmed that Liberia remains open and welcoming to Ghanaian businesses looking to expand beyond their borders.
Many Ghanaian investors in Liberia, many Ghanaian investors now. We are encouraging them to bring more investors into Liberia. We have businesses that are registered here, Ghanaian businesses, and they are also registered in Liberia. We have banks that are here in Ghana, 4 or 5 banks, they are also registered in Liberia. So we are looking for more opportunities from Ghanaian business people. That's why we are having a conference in Ghana to explain to them that. And then there are counterparts that are already here, Ghanaians, will support us to say, oh, I have business in Liberia, it's good. So the whole business is about encouraging new investors and new investments. We always discuss that at the diplomatic level. We always discuss that. Before businesses leave here, they have to go through their embassies to funnel the atmosphere for business.
That was Musu Jaturul, the Liberian ambassador to Ghana, wrapping up the Thursday edition of the Citi Business News and Eyewitness News. I'm Akosi Auche. Do stay with us. Up next is Point Blank.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
Babalono Ankasa. Polytank is everywhere, durable and authentic. Stronger brand you can trust. Polytank, we get Sumo, Rambo, and get Sumo Super. And the Polytank, we did. Polytank, Babalono, 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 Babalono Ankasa. Polytank, the original, always the best.
Oh, jump on now. Go, the go. Google me. At what time will you come back where I don't hear the sound of your car? Why you buy new car?
No, I not change my car. It be the same, right? It be the fuel where I change. Way one shouts it. Ever since I started using the all-new Excellium Premium Fuel, fortified with 3-in-1 action. Oh, Joe, now my car they run like electric car. No, it's so.
This is the type of fuel where they want to. Because now engine they cost. Where they want for way if I buy it, it go protect my engine. And with the small way I buy, I go drive, sir.
Absolutely. It's like strapping a turbocharger to your engine and giving it a protector. And what they boss my mind self be the 3-in-1 action, no? Excellium they prevent up to 99% of deposit. It be anti-wear, some be anti-corrosion. Won't pay when I open them.
Hey, so where can I find this magical fuel?
Just head over to any Total Energy service station and your car will thank you.
Hey, then make a finish my go be fast, then rush go Total Energies. My friend, but why your hand my go be inside?
I give you info. Make a feel the go be too small.
The go.
Excellium is designed to protect your car engine, decrease fuel consumption, and lower CO2 emissions. Don't say fuel, say Excellium. Choose Excellium, choose quality.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
You're still listening to Eyewitness News, coming to you live from our studio here in Accra, and this is Point Blank. On Point Blank tonight, my guest is Jonathan Abdullahi Salif, who is the Upper East Regional Communications Officer of the NDC. We're going to have a conversation about the Upper East region, the NDC as a political party, and the reset agenda of President John Dramani Mahama. Salif, good evening. Thank you very much for your time.
Yeah, good morning, my brother. Good evening, sorry. And evening to the many listeners of Citi FM. In Upper East, we have so many radio stations that are affiliated to yours as well. And I believe many of them are listening. Say Zayun to everyone listening to Citi FM.
You are the regional communications officer for the region. Your boss, the national communications officer, Sami Jemfi, has been in the news in recent time. President cleared him. But then, as your boss, what do you make of recent conversations about him?
Yeah, thank you very much. Let me say good evening to Lawyer Sami Jemfi and his two deputies and to the rest of the national executives. Yes, so we all saw what happened. We saw it in a video, and to some of us, we knew the matter wasn't going to go anywhere because there was no substance in it.
You knew the president was going to claim him?
To me, yes, because many people, not only limited to I alone, but many people, you ask yourself, what did he do? You can go and read the code of conduct that was recently launched by the president from page 1 to page 63. There is no any part of it which says you cannot gift somebody something small. Yes, there's no any section of it which says so. And apart from that, he didn't do it in an opulent manner. You saw that when he even wanted to count the money to give to the woman, he went into his car. He didn't know somebody was filming him, unknowingly. So that cannot be described as somebody who wants to show off. And knowing who Sami Jemfi is, I don't think, yes, $800, somebody can describe it as so much money. But if you look at what he has done for many people, including some of us, I think that should not be something that we should stop talking about more important things like the way the dollar is running away and being chased by the Citi, the way we are getting development left, right, center, and all the good things. This thing nearly took away the reset agenda discussion that has started, from day 1 to day 2. But it's part of life, So, to me, I am not surprised, and from day 1, I knew my boss was innocent. Look, sitting far away in the Upper East region, there have been people, some of my colleagues, and I say colleagues, people in the communication field, regional executive, constituency executive, who sometimes need help, be it financial, be it logistics or whatever. When I reach out to him, he supports them. He has helped pay people's school fees, medical bills. When he was going around donating, items to children's homes, why didn't these people come to see, ask where he's getting the money from? He went around and supported us with logistics like motorbikes, laptops, and the rest, and even vehicles.
The minority believe that,
why didn't they ask?
The president claimed him is not enough. So today they petition OSP, CID, and strike
why do you expect? This is a minority that is just less than 90 members of parliament. Sometimes we don't even know how to describe them, but whatever it is.
They say they are the mighty minority.
The gentleman who signed the petition, I think he's a MP for Gambaga, Nelego Gambaga. I think in the past he worked with us at the Youth Employment Agency. I don't want to say anything for now, but hey, if you live in a glass house, you don't throw stones. Let's see how it ends. What I know is that this is also going to be another waste of people's time. And I know, once again, my boss will be cleared without any shred of doubt. This will be thrown away when you asked, the host asked, which part of the Constitution has he breached? He couldn't say, so that's the reason why they are running to the institutions they have mentioned. Okay, but he should go and ask from people like Dr. Kabiru and the rest. Initially, they were quoting some wrong sections of the Bank of Ghana Act and the rest. When they were exposed, they had to now run away, and they're taking shelter somewhere. So I am not surprised. But, knowing who Sami Jefe is, he was so hard on them. They think it's an opportunity for them to pay back. That is just all about it. Nothing more, nothing less. But they will not succeed. And as other people will say, he should not also be deterred from helping others.
So let's talk about you.
Don't forget that I think it was a day before Mother's Day, right? Nana Grada is a mother. Before nothing at all, at least there was nothing wrong supporting a woman who had requested, okay, give me something small to buy for, and that is it.
Let's talk about you, Salifu. You were recently appointed as Director of Corporate Affairs for NEDCO, I guess, and then you had some issues with the union, and say that they reject your nomination or appointment to that position. Are you still the head of corporate affairs, or is hanging? What's the latest to that?
Let me say it's hanging because since I never occupied that position, I never got the opportunity to occupy it. I wouldn't say anything more.
Because of the protests from the workers' union?
Oh, yes. More, it contributed largely to it. But, hey, it is not the only place one can work in. I hope you understand. It is not. I am also an engineer by profession and done other courses as well. I don't think it is the only position anyway. You can even work in NATCO, but in various or in other departments, not necessarily that particular position. So I have told myself that I don't want to talk about it. But don't forget the union of every organization is always very strong, and I respect them as such. I don't begrudge anybody for having expressed their own sentiments. At least if I was part of them, probably I would have done the same. So I don't see it as an attack on my person, or maybe a personal hatred or anything. God willing, we are still able to put body and soul together, and we are moving.
Let's talk about recent developments within the country. The Boko issue is one of them. Currently, Boko is stable because we've not heard any news in respect to it. But the accusation from your opponents is that you, the NDC in the region, played a lot of politics with the Boko, crisis, inuring to your benefit in the last election, and now it has come back to bite you. How do you react to that?
I think that is not true. For the Boko issue, I think those of us who come from the Upper East region, have been advised to stop talking much about it. But what I will say is that His Excellency the President has promised to resolve it, and so far, I think he has stuck to his words. Don't forget that after he was sworn in as president, I think a day or two after, he had to travel to the Upper East region to meet the Zugrana, the Bokunaba, to have a talk with him concerning the conflict. After that, he went to the Nigeria as well to engage him. So apart from that, he indicated that he was referring the matter to the Otumfuo committee, which I know they have started. In fact, they met all the minority tribes in Boku, the Besses, the Hausas, the Yanges, and then the Moshish and the rest, even the Dagombes. They met them. And then he also met both factions. I think the last time I checked, he had planned to meet the Nairi, which he has not been able to engage him yet. But I believe that will definitely be done. Whatever it is, we are getting somewhere. And I believe, just like Otumfuo was able to resolve the Dagbon issue, I have so much confidence in him that yes, this very issue will also be resolved in no time. So I have so much confidence in the committee, I have so much confidence in the president, and I know that will definitely be dealt with. But we'll continue to appeal to both factions to just remain calm. Since the matter is before a very revered chief, king, I know very soon it will be dealt with. So that is what is about the Boku conflict. So far, like you rightly said, for some few days now, things have been cool, and we expect that it will remain safe, so that at least the curfew can be lifted for people to go around. Boku used to be second to, I think, Techima when it comes to revenue mobilization. Yes, very big town. But hey, when you go to Boku these days,
there's a ghost town. They say
national service personnel. When you want to send them there, they say they won't go. But nonetheless, I think it can easily. It will definitely be resolved, especially with
in the lead up to the election. Some residents within the Boku area called on the then NDC to consider creating a new region.
Yeah,
is this something the party is considering?
This will not have to do with government, not party.
But it's a party that forms the government.
Agree,
it's a party that forms the government.
Yes, I think it was a request made by the chiefs and people of the Eastern Bloc, the Kosal area. And I think it is something that the president himself, then candidate, said he will look at it, and that when he gets into power, now president, he will seek for advice and then equally determine whether he can create a region out of, the now Upper East region. So that is something that will leave for His Excellency the President and his advisors to look into. So I cannot actually see whether the President will be able to do it or not. But I know if it is something that the President will have to do, definitely he will do it.
The NDC has dominated the politics of the Upper East region, but then in terms of infrastructure development, there's little to show. There's really little to show in there. I've been to the Upper East region.
We have come from a very far. How do I describe it? From a very far place. If you look at our situation then and now, you get to appreciate the fact that we have improved. Okay, we used to be the second poorest before the creation of the additional 6 regions. We used to be the second. Okay, and we have really done a lot. First growing up, even we used not to have electricity. I remember before President Rawlings exited, or even before President Rawlings brought National Grid, we used to call it Akusombo. We used to have just some few privileged people enjoy electricity. Okay, less than 5% of our population, less than 5%. And before President Rawlings left, I think we had done about 15% to 15-18%. Yes, and then it has always been like that. Governments come and they add exactly. Yeah. But when you look at it, the NDC government has always done more for the people of the Upper East region than the other governments.
How is that?
That is a fact. I want to believe, because they also have confidence in us, and we feel that we need to support the region to grow, okay, and rise to the level of the developed the other developed regions. That is why we give the Upper East, the Upper West, let me just say the poor regions, that's so much attention. Exactly. So if you look at it even from water coverage, electricity, we have done so well. That is not to say that the other governments didn't contribute anything, or they did. But if you look at it figure by figure, percentage by percentage, we have done so much. Okay, roads, the same. First, before you could even get to Tamale, those days, before President Rawlings constructed a road from Kintampo, okay, to Paga, even Tamale, sometimes it take 2 days. Yes, just Tamale, 2 days. Not to talk of Kumasi and other places, because the roads were very bad. But it gave us an asphalt road, which is today over 22, 23 years. And somebody said, I mean, we need to do something about it. I think the president, then candidate, even talked about it, and I'm so much hopeful that something will be done about it. So that is the entry. Coming from the southern sector, that's the road you have to use. But when you come to Upper East, then you must move to the, Bolga, which is the capital. You must move to the other districts. So President Mahama made it a deliberate policy to make sure that at least these roads are well constructed, so that we can have connection from the other district to the regional capital, multiple roads. So you look at Bolga Bongo Road, he did it. Bolga Tungu Road, he worked on it. He awarded the Bolga Boku Polmanku Road, which cuts through 6 constituencies or districts, right from Bolga Central to Bolga East to Zebla, Zebla to Binduri, Binduri to Boku, Boku to Pusga, and then you go to the neighboring country. So 6 districts or constituencies. This road was supposed to be completed somewhere 2019. So when the MPP came in, I think they said they needed to do some auditing or something. It delayed it. Later said they got a different source of funding. And I remember 2023, when I became communication officer, I held a press conference. That was the time the contractor had packed out and left site. They were giving a lot of excuses. Some of them even said, oh, the contractor had just gone for holidays. I said, no, our own sources tell us that the contractor is far gone. Lo and behold, it was confirmed by the then Deputy Roads Minister, who said the contractor had to pack out because of the debt restructuring. They couldn't pay, and the contractors were told, so they had no option than to what? To go. That road is still at where it was left. Okay, 3 bridges here to be worked on. Part of the route, when you get into Bolga, we are supposed to have a dual carriage road, okay, which has not also been constructed. Even though certain portions of it, I can say about 70-75% of the road is done. But we need to finish it up. The road minister recently was in the Upper East region, and he said he will make sure that it is worked on. Okay, when you look at it from the western side, for Navrongo to Paga, the road, because of the international route that President Rawlings did for us, that one has no problem. But from Navrongo to Sandema to Chuchulga, from Navrongo to Chuchulga to Sandema to Fumbisi, that is a portion that was also awarded by President Mahama before he left office. The contractor was on site, Martin Construction Company Limited. Very competent. Unfortunately, when they came, I don't know what happened. For the 8 years, they are still on that route. They haven't finished. They are still on that road. That road that was supposed to have finished in 2019. They are still struggling with it. But the road minister, like I said, when he visited, I think he inspected that route as well. And he has given us his words. I know that road will definitely be completed maybe in the next 1 or 2 years to come. Okay, it will definitely be worked on.
So staying with the infrastructure, the region has long argued for an airport to be established in that part of the country.
Yeah.
You think this current government can more or less establish this particular airport in Bolga for the people of the Upper East region?
Oh yes. You see, Bolga should have, or Upper East should have had an airport by now. Because if you look at the record some of us are privileged to have seen, the land for the airport, which was donated by the people of Sumbrungu, the chiefs and Tindames of Sumbrungu, and I say good evening to them, they gave us 7,000 hectares of land. 7,000 for free.
7,000?
Yes.
That's huge.
Yes, that's huge, for free. Okay, under President Rawlings, the runways were worked on. I mean, they were gravel compacted, and even the weather station was built. Unfortunately, I think we lost power. The MPP came under President Kufuor, nothing was done. We came back, and I think we were looking for a different source of funding to see whether if we could continue with it. We couldn't. MPP came. Unfortunately, instead of leaving us to handle our own problem, they decided to crash two communities together because there's a nearby community called Sirgu. They said, oh, the old side was not good, so they want to take it to the other side, trying to create that rivalry, you know. Meanwhile, they have been living in harmony for years. Nonetheless, they couldn't do anything. So when President President Mahama came around, he actually heard from the people. I mean, we cried to him that we actually need an airport. And don't forget that from here to Bolga, it will take you no less than 12 hours.
Then the argument has been the demand.
No.
If an airport is established in
I will get there. But you see, that airport, as we speak today, something has happened on the land. The president instructed the Ghana Airport Company to come and do an assessment and present a report, and they will take a decision as to what to do next. The airport company sent a technical team earlier. The regional minister received them, and there's this group in Bolga called the Alangobi group. With the community, they were able to clear the runway and then the access route. Okay, the technical team came, advised, asked us to add some 3,000 meters to the existing runway, which we did. The CEO herself visited the site. She was in Upper East, and she has given us her word as well. And among all, I have so much trust in the president, and I know since he has decided to turn his attention to the Upper East Airport, it will definitely be given the needed attention. Even the gold mining companies we have in the Upper East region are ready to support us to have, a very good and a nice airport. Yes, they have said that. They said they are ready to support. Recently, they visited the regional minister, and they said they are ready to invest about $10 billion in the mines.
Okay.
And because of that, they need a very good airport, and they are ready to support government to construct it. I don't want to divulge, other information, but I'm told they have already put in place. They've gotten somebody to do the estimates for them, which will definitely be looked at and possibly be awarded. But you spoke about demand. You see, Upper East is flanked by two neighboring countries.
Do that in 30 seconds because we're running out of time.
Oh, okay. Burkina Faso and Togo. Okay. So they also travel. You know that.
Yeah.
They travel. They come to Accra. They go beyond Accra. Anytime they want to go, they have to come to Bolga, move to Tamale, and fly.
Okay.
Before I came here, that morning, we had about 3 shuttles, the minibuses. Okay, in a convoy. I was in one of them. Then we came to Tamale. Every day, that's how we go. So anybody who speaks about demand is not true. In fact, when our airport is finally built and commissioned, I can assure you that we will contribute largely to the revenue base of Ghana through the Upper East Airport. Yes, so I am very much confident that the president will build for us, a nice airport.
Finally, before we go, looking at the overwhelming support the NDC had in the region, you think the government can fulfill all the promises made to the people of the Upper East region within just 4 years of President Mahama?
We pray for the best, but I think we've started on a very good note. Look, we promised to upgrade our regional hospital into a teaching hospital. We promised to support the Citi University to run medicine. As we speak, the health minister has instructed one of the renowned doctors. In fact, he helped in establishing the medical school in Tamale. He has been instructed, he's on retirement, Professor Abantanga. He has been instructed to look at how we can also start a medical school in Navrongo, the Citi University. Okay, which hospital will we use for the practicals? The Upper East Regional Hospital. So definitely to be given the facelift. We didn't even have a single dialysis machine. You remember? We cried out, we did our own contributions. Unfortunately, we had a Ghana Ports and Harbour donating 10. And I have to single out Dr. Emmanuel Akatibo, for leading that fight, that crusade, with the support of his medical director and then the chiefs. As we speak today, we can boast of no less than 14 dialysis machines.
Oh, okay.
Yes, 14.
In the Upper East region.
In the Upper East region. I would like to use this opportunity to thank the Harbour Authority and also appeal to them, because they had promised to adopt the unit, the dialysis department. You know what you get when you adopt it. I mean, you'll be giving some remittances once in a while. I will tell them not to renege. They should do so. Fortunately, we have some one of our brothers who is now director of ports, and I know he will not leave us behind. So I know we will fulfill many of the promises in the area of agri. The Tamale Dam will get a phase
in 30 seconds.
Yeah, the Tamale Dam will definitely get a second phase. We will make sure that our roads are upgraded. Look, as we speak, President, it was a request, and President said he will do it for us. When you come to the Upper East region, we have 3 zones: East, West, and Central. Central is called the Bonoboto zone. There's no any college of education. And I must thank the MP for Tanlesi, Honorable Daniel Mahama. He has provided a 12-unit flat
to be used,
and provided 5-unit classroom block.
Okay.
The flat should be used for the office or as an administrative block, and then this classroom block can be used used as classroom block to start the program. The chiefs have equally donated 50 acres of land, for the start of this program. I'm told by next week, a team will be sent from the Ministry of Education to go and have an inspection
Jonathan,
of this.
I'm sure we'll bring you back here for one of these years for us to have more conversation on development within the Upper East region. It's been another exciting edition of Eyewitness News that came to you live from our studio here in Accra. You just heard Jonathan Abdullah Salifu. He's the Upper East Regional Communications Officer of the NDC. And my name is Sami Wiafe. I brought you Eyewitness News. Earlier you heard Akosia Ochre. Eyewitness News is produced by Kobna Wilson, Beverly London, and Juliana Odame Asari. So we come away again tomorrow. Good night.